Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Fine Wine or Milk. Today we're going to be looking at an absolutely classic archetype. This deck completely dominated Standard way back when, and it kind of showed up every now and then in Modern as well, particularly in the hands of the legend himself, Yuta Takahashi, who was an absolute master of the archetype. Of course, I'm talking about Faeries. Yeah. I've been actually thinking about this to be one of the decks featured in Fine Wine or Milk, but what really sold me was I went over the deck lists from the showcase, and what happened, not the mocks, but the actual showcase, but Eduardo Sajgalik was playing a singleton copy of Spellstarter Sprite in his 4-color control deck when he top 8'd that event. And I just sat there looking at the card and I'm thinking about it. And it's just absolutely genius, right? You have Spellstarter Sprite and it just counters most of the cards that you care about in the format, including every single Cascade spell, of course. So I kind of had like a moment where I'm like, well, maybe this is just the nuts. Like maybe a deck that just tries to play a bunch of Spellstarter Sprite, it's actually a reasonable thing to be doing right now. Obviously, we got a bunch of new printings as well, so we have, we have access to Counterspell, we have Archmage's Charm, like all of these cards really didn't see, even Brazen Borrower, all of these cards didn't really exist back when this deck was still somewhat playable. But today I still wanted to showcase a little bit of what made the deck, right? Like, so we have a one of Bitter Blossom, even though this card is not really what it used to be, right? Spending 2 mana on your opponent prismatic endings, you're Blossom and you're not in great shape. Like, same thing with Cryptic Command. This is a card that is absolutely a banger in the strategy specifically, but this card, 4 mana counterspell hasn't really aged particularly well in, where Mystical Dispute is one of the most common cyber cards that we can have access to. So I'm still playing a couple of copies, but this is more for nostalgia purposes, more so than because I think the card is great. But I'm still going to be trying to, do as well as we can. And we're playing some newer cards in Drawn in the Log. We of course have access to a couple of discard spells in Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. Fatal Push to kill early Ragavans. Opts to make sure that our Snapcaster mages always have fuel and something interesting to do. And of course, the classic Vendilion Click, this card that was an actual powerhouse in the format. Even it was a staple in blue-white control sideboards. Obviously, times have changed, but the card can still be pretty strong, particularly me as an Amulet player. This is one of the single cards I've lost most matches to. if I just went back and looked at different cards that have really owned me in the past, Vendilion Click really is very, very high on that list. The mana base is going to be fairly straightforward. We have a Creeping Tar Pit, and then we have, just actually better Creeping Tar Pit as well. I'm also playing 1 copy of Otawara and 1 copy of Takenuma. Even though this is just a 2-color deck, and we should be able to have some pretty reasonable mana, the mana requirements, as you can see, are fairly steep. So you don't get to mess around too much. So we only have 3 non-blue producing lands, which means that we have 21 blue producing lands. I think this should be fine-ish, but it wouldn't, surprise me that maybe I should not be playing the Takenuma, or maybe I should not be playing the Mutavault. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if those things were actually true. But what the hell? We'll see how it goes. And in the sideboard, I have just like a plethora of just good options in blue, in the colors blue and black. So we have access to Mystical Dispute, an extra copy of Vendilion Click, as I was saying, against combo decks. This card is absolutely fantastic. Dress Down against Hammer, against Amulet, decks like that. Flusterstorm mostly against Cascade, but it can also be used in Control Mirrors. Necromancia, absolutely fantastic against combo decks. Collective Brutality, this is a nod to Burn, and again, I'm playing this deck list in Magic Online League, so I expect to face some number of Burn decks. A couple of copies of Engineered Explosives, a little bit of respect towards Hammer Time, and finally, Nihil Spellbomb, just a hate card against Graveyard strategies. I consider something like Hearse instead of Nihil Spellbomb. I think the efficiency of Spellbomb is gonna be more relevant in a deck like this, but I would not be surprised if Unlicensed Hearse is the better card to be playing right now, because it's just so good against decks like Murktide. But we're going with Nidal Spellbook from now. This is the deck list that we're going to be playing, so hopefully we can honor the legends that have made this deck great in the past. If you enjoyed the content, of course, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you for round number 1. Ah yes, this is exactly the hand that I was expecting to see with my double Archmage's Charm hand. I'm still gonna keep this hand though. We can go turn 1, tap land, turn 2, Darslick Shores, and we do have Brazen Borrower here. We'll see what our opponent's up to. Scalding Tarn, go. Alright, I think I'm not even gonna crack this fetch land right here. Okay, so if my opponent fetches, we can deal with 1-drops, I guess. It's not particularly great, but something we can do. Oh. Okay, so this is gonna be Scapeshift. So it's gonna be extremely important for me to make sure that I can put as much pressure as I can on my opponent. And we're gonna counter this Sakura Tribeholder here. We draw on the lock, makes my Snapcaster better, and hopefully we find the blue source here. Spellstutter Sprite. Okay. I'm probably gonna play Brazen Borrower regardless. Kind of brutal that we're getting punished by the Takenuma, which, as I said earlier, probably should not be in my deck. But it's fine. Well, we can't counter that, unfortunately. We're gonna be able to counter 2-drops next turn. That's a problem. That's a real big problem. We're gonna play Brazen Borrower here on end step. Hopefully my opponent does not have a bolt and we can start clocking. Ugh, this is kind of brutal. We also have a bunch of EDB tapped lands, which are pretty rough. No fetch is good for us though. Would love to find a blue source. Man, if this were literally any other blue producing land, would be in such great shape. Okay. So that's probably game, I assume. I want to ask multiple fetch lands. If they don't have a land. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Should I play Sprite here? So with my opponent missing a land drop there, Sprite means that this is a 4-turn clock instead of a 5-turn clock. So that probably means that I should play the Sprite regardless here. It also makes another Sprite a better draw. Ugh, that's devastating. Okay, that probably means that we lose. Oh, we also got super punished for playing out the Sprite. We got pretty unlucky here, like punished by... Oh wow, Lightning Bolt. All right, I'm just gonna concede. We can continue playing, but like it's just it's not gonna work out. Okay, Necromantia is fantastic, obviously. Vendilion Click this is exactly the kind of matchup for it. And do I care about? I think I'm gonna cut pushes. And do I care about Collective Brutality? Is what I'm trying to think. I don't care about Bitter Blossom. I think Blossom's gonna suck. I guess we're gonna have Dress Downs for Primeval Titan. Can buy me a turn potentially. I could also see playing Flusterstone because of Veil of Summer specifically. That's fine. Let's go with this. All right, let's draw better this time around. I mean, I guess I'm not gonna ship this hand, right? Basic Island, go. Can play Sunken Rains on turn 2, hold up Counterspell. There's nothing we're afraid of in turn 1. I guess that's pretty scary. We're probably going to counter anything. Just to use my mana. Search for Tomorrow. Okay. Now, I think we just pass the turn. And I think I'm gonna probably Vendilion Click on end step. Explorer's fine. Dwarven Mine. Plus missed land drop. Huh. I think I'm gonna be click. Because if my opponent has a Veil, I probably want to take it. No Veils. I might take Lightning Bolt though. Because I probably have to counter Wish, because that gets a Valakut. I guess I'm countering Dryad. I can bounce the Dryad though. I think we want to take Bolt though. No, actually I'm not going to take anything. I'm not going to take anything because I think we can... My opponent's going to fill up the graveyard. And next turn we're going to have access to double Counterspell. So I think we just chill here. We just take nothing. And okay, that's a Misty. So we're gonna swing for 3. We have perfect information on my opponent's hand. And I think I counter the Search for tomorrow. And then I'm gonna have access to... And then I'm gonna have access to Drown in the Lock. So counter Search. But I have to bank on my opponent missing land drops here. Draw land. Interesting. Do I want my opponent to bolt this? I think I do. I guess I can, because they're gonna bolt this on my upkeep otherwise. So it's basically, would I rather just like find the black source here or not? I think I'm just gonna tap. I think my opponent's just gonna bolt on my upkeep. They don't. Okay, take 3 then. Okay, there we go. That's lightning bolt. Lightning bolt resolves. Pass the turn. We're just gonna Brace and Borrower on step. But like my opponent didn't spend their mana at all. Kind of weird. They're hitting land drops. It's bad for us. Here's another Borrower. And now I think I'm gonna fetch for Black Source here. Counterspell is nice. Okay, so I'm not gonna use this Aura for anything, so I'm just going to swing with Borrower, and this Borrower is gonna have to go the distance. Well, my opponent's gonna be like single spelling for the rest of the game here. Would love to dodge another natural land drop. Yeah, that's what I would have liked to dodge. Okay, my opponent's doing something here, and I think I'm gonna drown. Probably the Dryad. So counter target spell. Still have perfect info. That's really bad. So I really needed for a way to close the game a little bit faster there. And that's what I was really looking for. So my opponent's not particularly close to triggering this Valakut unless they resolve Primeval Titan. And now they have 6 cards in the graveyard, so if they slam a Titan here, we just get to counter it. Next turn, we have another counter. So this is kind of nice. Jace would be nice. Delta, not so much. Also, it's kind of awkward that this Brace and Borrower is like, this is like a 4-turn clock. It's a bit rough. I guess being at 19 means that Wish for Scape Shift is not lethal, so that's kind of nice. I'm not gonna fetch for now. Ugh. So my opponent is not close to naturally triggering Valakut, so I'm gonna allow this Wish to happen. Flame Slash. Okay. Obviously that stops our clock, which sucks, but at least we have the counter spell for... I'm probably gonna have to draw 2, honestly. I'm not gonna be able to use this as a counter spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now they do have access to triggering Valakut. So I think we're dead now. I think we may just be dead here. So this is gonna find another Valakut, and then each land triggers twice, which kills me. So I think I need more gas. Like I'm gonna have to fetch here, which is quite unfortunate. To draw 2, sorry, which is pretty unfortunate. All right, Jace is kind of the best thing I could have found there. So let's just draw 3. Looking for Snapcaster. Okay, this is a decent amount of gas. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 mana. And this is a 1-turn clock. So we're gonna put this on top and I think this on top. Yeah, we're gonna put Sprite on top. I'm probably gonna shuffle it away regardless. Opponent does not kill Jace. Does that mean they're gonna let me Jace again? Okay, so if they drew Veil, we're dead. Counter target spell. Blue. Blue. If they drew Veil, my opponent's just better than I am, so... Okay, there's no way they let me Jace, right? Oh, they're attacking. They're dead on board now. They're dead to the hole. Yeah, I don't think my opponent thought this through. Okay. So I guess we get to steal this one. They also letting me draw 3 with Jace? Why? I'm very confused. Alright. This is big boy. 7, yeah. Is this good? Yeah. Maybe got a little bit too hasty with that Steve over there. Alright. Kind of got away with murder a little bit. But that's good. That's good. I think this is where I want to be. I don't think we have anything better in our sideboard. Maybe I should be bringing in the Brutalities. Ooh, this hand is pretty nice. Keep it. So we're gonna get to Thoughtseize, snap Thoughtseize, do some cool stuff that way, which always feels good. Okay, we definitely love to see some counter magic now. Well, we have to take Ren, otherwise that's gonna win the game by itself. So let's take Ren, and then we're going to, I guess, get got by the Dryad, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to find a Drown the Lock or a Jace to bounce it. But Dryad without a Valakut in play is not really that big of a deal. Got Snapcasters. I think I'm actually going to play out one of these Snapcasters so that I can... maybe I can't start blocking. Maybe my opponent does not play the Dryad here. Maybe they go for Wish, and they wish for Valakut. That's probably the better play, honestly, unless they're not playing around counter magic. But if I were my opponent, I would probably just wish for Valakut. Play Dwarven. I guess that's a way to like make my snappy plan not so good anymore. There's a Dryad and no extra land. Yes, extra land. So gonna spell Stutter Sprite. Man, that's so interesting. Like if only that would be so interesting if my opponent did not have a Wish in hand, so they can just go get the Valakut. So I'm gonna have to wait until next turn. We're gonna have to Thoughtseize here. We're gonna have to take the Wish, and then Necromentia next turn. We're gonna Necromentia. They want to attack? Probably. We're gonna Necromentia Valakut. And I guess if my opponent offers a trade for the Dwarf token, we take it. Why did my opponent not play out the Mire? That's a Steve. So we probably have to trade here. It also takes a turn off the clock. Alright, a little bit Necromentia flooded over here. Well, let's Necromentia, we're gonna name Valakut the multi. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what my opponent's got going on there. Triple Veil of Summer, quadruple Primeval Titan, double Bolt. So they don't have that very many cards that matter anymore. Like the 4 Prime Times and the 3 Wishes are the only cards that really matter. They do have another Dwarven Mine, so I'm not gonna attack this turn. But yeah, this is not super scary. I'm gonna take a screenshot here so we have this information, and then play my creepy Tarpit. My creepy and crappy Tarpit. And as I said, we're not gonna attack because I think we're gonna try to trade with this Steve. So at this point, Primeval Time is just a 6/6. That's all that it is. So we just have to find an answer to the 2/4. Which, to be fair, 2/4 is something that could kill us. Huh. If I Necromentia, I think I want to V-click myself. My opponent only has 7 cards that matter, realistically speaking. Because Ren and 6, we may be able to just clock. Particularly with the Creeping Tarpit here. So I think I want to V-click my... if I Necromentia now, we take 3. Opponent has only 1 more Dwarven Mine. Take 3 down to 6. The thing is, I kind of think that I want to Snapcaster Necromentia next turn, so I think I'm just going to Vendilion click myself. And I think I'm actually going to click away the Necromentia. Dress down. Okay. Well, that's not so good anymore. Opponent does not get Dwarven Mine. If they find Wish here, that's game, yeah. Yep, so now they get to play Valakut and I just die. So, yeah. I guess that's how it works sometimes. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to main phase that, in case I find a land, so I can set up Snapcaster Necromentia for next turn to name either Wish or Primeval Titan. I think I would have named Wish, because after we get rid of the Wishes, then I'm not scared of Valakut anymore, and Primeval Titan is a 6/6 that we can potentially kill thanks to Drown the Lock, but obviously my opponent did not give me the time. Alright, see you next round. Okay, round number 2, we're facing a Yorion gamer, and this looks like a pretty fine hand against the Yorion. I think... This is the combo right here, you know? Fix your mana, cast your charms through through playing your Black Source. We get to Inquisition or Ren, which is nice. And then we have Counterspell and Drown the Luck to hold up afterwards. So I think this is a solid start. Opponent plays Flooded Strand, says go. We are getting out Flooded Stranded here. Opponent's Soul Frame, much better than mine, look. Feels bad. Also, my opponent is extremely slow. Thanks to the technology of editing, you don't have to sit through this. I do, though. Hey, we do get to take a turn. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go for get my dual land. And we're just gonna Inquisition my opponent on one. Boom. Target you. Target you, baby. What you got over there? Oh. Opponent's having fun over there. So I can't beat this, right? I can only really delay the unavoidable here. Because the priest, the unearth effect is not counterable. Still probably gonna take the mending, I assume. Could also take the ephemerate to make Muldrifter a little bit worse. I guess I'm gonna take the priest just to delay that. I think we probably can't beat this, however. Like, my opponent's gonna eventually put an Archon into play, and when they do, I'm just gonna fall a little bit too far behind. But yeah, priest being uncounterable is a big problem. We don't have any graveyard hate in game 1, so yeah. I guess my opponent could just like miss land drops forever. That's my strategy. Opponent fetches, gets Rafine's Tower on my end step. I'm kind of surprised that, like, what's the point of playing Yorion in this deck? Like, sure, you have some ETB effects, but like, aren't you a Reanimator deck? Doesn't playing more cards make it less likely that you put your combo together? Like, obviously it didn't matter here, but kind of weird. I'm probably gonna have to let the Faithful Mending resolve, obviously, otherwise my opponent just resolves it next turn. So this means they're also gonna be hitting the land drops, which is bad for me. Discarding double Archon, okay. It's a delta. I'm probably gonna counter a Muldrifter though. No, put Yorion to hand. Really? Okay. Okay, that's a dead draw. How do I beat this? I probably needed to draw a Vendilion click right there. Maybe if I had drawn a V-click right now, I could have like clocked my opponent quickly enough to raise them, but it's not gonna work out with this. Counterspelled. Not that it matters. They also have the Ephemerate. Gross. Gross. I can technically drown the Archon, but eventually my opponent's gonna find like another uncounterable thing. Then I'm gonna be dead. Also, they have Ephemerate, which is pretty awkward for me. Ugh. Alright, pass the turn again. Opponent fetches on end step, which makes sense. They probably already have their 5th land drop in hand, since they've been mending. Grief. Probably gotta counter that. A little bit of awkward usage of my mana, but gotta do what you gotta do. So if I play a land here, I can, if I play Delta, I can both drown and charm. Man, not having a clock here is just so brutal. Faithful Mending, okay. Again, there's no value in me countering this because my opponent has another one in the graveyard, so like I'm not really achieving anything. Okay, we're just gonna draw 2. And next turn we're gonna have to kill the Archon, I guess. My opponent did discard the Ephemerate though. Maybe they have another one in hand. End of turn. Draw 2. Draw 2 more lands, not what the doctor ordered. That's probably a death sentence. Yeah, that's a death sentence. Well, that's that. At least we have good cards to discard to the Archon. So let's look at it on the bright side, huh? We do know what we're discarding to Archon. Mending, okay. Opponent discards double Ephemerate, then they Thoughtseize. I mean, there's just no reason for me to counter this, right? Yep, my hand is nothing. I'm not gonna fetch because my only way of winning this game is drawing a Jace, and then I can shuffle away all of these lands. So I'm gonna hold on to the Delta. Jace to minus Sculptor, one time. Opt into Jace. Okay, so deck is like draw 2 into Jace, I guess. Ugh. Okay. Let's play Sunken Ruin, say go. So now my opponent's gonna get back the Archon. We're gonna get to draw 2. And I guess we have to draw Snapcaster so we can snap. Yeah, so we can snap Drown. Opponent, I assume my opponent has no more Ephemerates in hand. Like, it's possible they have Ephemerate number 4, but if that's the case, we can't win anyways. Priest of Felerites, okay. So I didn't counter this because we can draw Fatal Push for that. And like Fatal Push is dead as of right now, and I think that the only way that I can potentially win this game is if I get extremely lucky. Okay, there's Jace. Kind of unfortunate because that gives me hope, and I don't know if I should be having hope. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to Jace Brainstorm. Okay, so let's put that back. Let's put that back. Play this out, and we're going to Petty Theft the Priest. Mending. Why is my opponent not flashbacking the Priest? I don't get it. So having drawn the Spell Starter Sprite means that I get to discard them to the Archon sack. So I'm just gonna play this out so my other ones do something. Yeah, gonna draw 3 again. Brutal. Absolutely devastating. So I guess we're gonna Thoughtseize the Yorion. Well, is that beatable? Is that beatable? Not really, huh? I mean, not having drawn like this. But I think Yorion doesn't really do anything, so I'm gonna take the Burial Rites. Like, that's one less Reanimator spell to deal with, I guess. Reanimation spell. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can attack with this Mutavault here. Okay. So one has got Yorion Prismatic Ending in hand. There's an Archon. I guess this gives them another Archon trigger. So maybe this was wrong. Yeah, this was definitely wrong. Yeah, this was definitely. I should have taken the Yorion. Honestly, I didn't think about this. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Like, if I do take the Yorion, my opponent just like Burial Rites the Yorion, and we're on this exact same spot. So, I guess this just didn't matter at all. We only have 3 Faeries as it stands. Unearth. Now they remember about the Unearth? This is so confusing to me. Okay. It's Archon numero 2. Play this thing. I mean, the thing is that I'm not drawing towards anything, right? That's the problem. Like, I'm not hoping to get lucky anymore at this point. I guess no, there's nothing. There's no combination of cards that saves me here. I mean, I'm gonna play this thing out because I can, but I'm just gonna brainstorm and concede probably. Oh yes, Bitter Blossom, right on time. Yeah, that can kill one of these, but it gets reanimated, so doesn't do anything. Okay, so Nihil Spellbomb. Yes. Brutality. Probably yes as well. I don't think we want pushes, even though they kill Grief. Bitter Blossom's probably too slow. Is Bitter Blossom just fine? Like, I doubt that my opponent's gonna leave. Well, V-Click is fantastic, but I doubt my opponent's gonna leave. What's his name? Prismatic Ending. Dress Down seems good, I guess. Against all of my opponent's CTBs. Thoughtseize Inquisition, those are fine. Snapcaster would have been nice to find at one point. At any point. Maybe Spellstarter Sprite is what I'm gonna cut. Maybe this is not the card for this matchup. All my other cards just seem better. Maybe Drown can go because I'm bringing in Spellbombs. So ideally this is not a good card. So cut the Drowns, bring in Fluster. Necromantia is interesting, but the problem is if I Necromantia Archon, my opponent just kills me with random dudes, so I think the better strategy is just to like Nihil Spellbomb them. And I guess Nihil Spellbomb is a reason for them to keep Prismatic Ending. Okay, let's keep this hand and hope we draw some lands. Hopefully we do. Would be awesome to draw some lands. Turn 1 fetch for Watergrave, Inquisition U. Let's see what you're cooking with, opponent. What do you got going on over there? Interesting. So I think we take one of the priests. Taking Persist could have also been interesting there. Dress Down hopefully works a little bit for us here. Although I may just have to cycle it, unfortunately. Opt is not the worst. It gives me something to do with my mana, which is better than Dress Down. because it makes it more likely that I find land. I assume my opponent is going to play Priest now. Okay, so opt in response. Keep that on top. Pass the turn. There are 6 drawers, just like we drew it up. Just like we drew it up. Triumph. Okay. Probably not gonna dress down here. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, I think we're just gonna pass the turn here, and we can Cryptic, bounce Priest on end step. We can maybe counter Mold Drifter, bounce Priest. I guess if my opponent Mold Drifters, do I just dress down instead? Probably not. Probably have to just counter draw. And this is a little bit of what I was saying earlier. Like, my opponent's hand is like a little bit of a clunker here, in that you know, they don't have an enabler, but they're less likely to find an enabler because, yeah. So I think we're just dress down here, because otherwise I counter this, and unless I counter bounce, my opponent just gets the Mold Drifter back anyways. So this prevents the draw 2. Really gotta find something to do here. Mage's Charm. It's not great. I just don't have a window to resolve this Jace the Mind Sculptor. Offering the trade. I guess I take it. And I take it now because I drew Archmage's Charm, otherwise I wouldn't. Interesting. So I can Snapcaster Inquisition now, or I can draw 2 with Charm. I think I'm gonna draw 2 with Charm and hope that we find the Black Swords, but I think that we need to, yeah. So I think we just have to get a little bit lucky here. Huh. That's awkward. Probably just take the Persist, because anything else kind of punishes me. So yeah, take the Persist. I'm gonna let my opponent draw 2. So now my opponent can draw 2 with Mold Drifter. But otherwise, you know, they can Faithful Mending, and if they find like an Archon or something, like they can just reanimate it with Persist, so it's not great for me. Yep. Mold Drifter. Missed land drop. Okay. So do we just slam Jace here? I think so. Just gonna brainstorm. Alright. We're going somewhere. So let's put that on top and that on top, because these are my best cards, I guess. So we can protect them from a grief. Mold Drifter can't kill Jace here, which is good for me. Next turn we can Brutality, kill Mold Drifter, and make opponent discard, just do res. And we can do so while holding up onto Cryptic. Jace down to 1. Yeah, you just have to look for lands here. Opponent did find the land. Did they also find the... Man, we're really gotta find... I've not been getting lucky in trying to find Nile Spellbomb. I guess maybe we're a little bit short on anti-graveyard stuff. Unmarked Grave. Okay. So we know the Brutality is gonna be tagging something, which is nice. So let's... Jace. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so put that on top, put that on top. Play this. Let's Brutality with 2 modes. -2, -2. And kill your Mold Drifter, discard Spellstarter Sprite. And we're gonna take the Mending or the Indulgence. I think we're gonna take the Indulgence. Mending is card disadvantage after all. Then gonna get an island. Oh, they have 4 colors of mana. Whoops. Yeah, I'll just pass the turn here. They don't have a reanimation spell, so if they attempt to ending the Jace, we can just counter draw, which is nice. Opponent playing directly into our plan. Man, I've not done this in so long. Counter draw, baby. Woo! That's just hot. That's so hot. Pretty sure my opponent has not seen a Cryptic Command in a long time either. I have definitely not seen a Cryptic Command in a really long time either. Nobody has. Thoughtseize. Interesting. So opponent's hand right now, almost completely no, they only have 1 unknown card. We untap. Dress down is an interesting one to have. So I'm feeling kind of okay here. Definitely gonna Jace here. That's very nice. That's very, very nice. So, do you want to Thoughtseize this Solitude? kind of want to hit my land drop here. Kind of want to hit my land drop. But I think I'm just going to be patient. So let's put that on top and that on top. And then we're going to pass the turn. And I think we're just going to Snapcaster Cryptic if my opponent goes for Prismatic Ending once again. Alternatively, I could go V-Click plus... oh, this is going to be great. Oh, I love this. So now my opponent gets Priest, but I just dress down. So it loses all abilities. This is great. Draw the Nile Spellbomb. Oh, that has haste anyways? Oh, I did not know that. Oh no, it doesn't have haste. Okay, cool. So now the dress down leaves, and I'm gonna V-click on my opponent's end step. So V-click. I wonder if that's a bug. But yeah, because this is Sorcerer Speed, we just got them good there. Alright, V-click you. What do you got? What do you got over there? What are you cooking with? At this point, my opponent's going to start hard casting Solitude, so I think I'm going to take one of them. I'm going to take the one with the less beautiful art. I think this, maybe this art does not look great in MTGO, but it does look great in paper. Thoughtseize. This means we get to take the other Solitude. Okay, that's nice. Then we get to Nile Spellbomb everything. It's pretty good. Oh, we knew about these Thoughtseize, didn't we? Yeah, we put it back with the Jace. My bad, I forgot about that. Okay, so I think I want to hide the second Spellbomb. And I guess I'm going to put Otawara on top. We get to Thoughtseize, play Spellbomb. Yeah, this is fine. Play this, Thoughtseize you. Now we're going to have full information. And then we're just going to Spellbomb. Just main face and crack it. Take the Solitude, Spellbomb, crack it. I guess this means we get to draw another Spellbomb, but I'm not going to play it into the Prismatic Ending. Because I'd rather my opponent use 4 mana to attempt to kill the Jace. Yeah, so opponent sinks in a bunch of mana attempting to kill the Jace. We counterspell the Prismatic Ending. Opponent concedes. Sweet. Alright, so they only have 4 minutes and 40 seconds to finish the game, and they've been playing at a glacially slow pace. So maybe we are going to get there. I think I'm just not feeling the sprites. Like, the sprite counters on the draw. It's probably better for me to have disputes than sprites. Yeah, I think I like that better. Shout out to Dress Down. Just randomly stayed here with us, but okay. Sounds kind of fine. I'm gonna keep it. One is gonna have to hurry up over there. We're 10 minutes ahead on clock. Roll to 5. Okay. Play land Sego. Miss land drop. Yep, gonna keep that one on top. That's how we're planning to end this game. Have access to dispute here, which is pretty nice when my opponent's missing land drops. Again, like, you're just playing 80 cards. This is bound to happen. I think I'm just gonna put a clock on them. Here's an island. Cast Borrower. And I think there's nothing they can really play that scares me, so I'm just going to Jace. And they didn't counter this, so I'm just gonna Jace plus. Yeah, you may keep that. So they're missing land drops, they're gonna draw a Faithful Mending now. Game's probably over. Yeah. Alright, that was, I guess that at the end, the game did end in like 40 seconds, so it worked out anyway. See you next round. Oh man, look at this hand. This just brings me back. Yes, yes, 100 times yes. Keep this. We're probably gonna lose, but doesn't matter. Look at this Bitter Blossom right here. Hell yeah, Spell Starter Sprite in the face of Cavern of Souls. Oof, this is hot. Ooh, Amulet. Okay. This matchup has always been a lot of fun. So I'm... Uh-oh. Well, I guess this match in particular is not very fun, but the matchup in general is sometimes fun, I guess. Are we gonna get turn 2? We may get turn 2 here. Explore. Oh, they have Primeval Talent in hand. This is a turn 2 kill. Grazer. I guess I should not have 6, because... Oh, interesting. That's also lethal with Terlaria West now? I'm assuming that's what's gonna happen here. Man, 1 mana away from Spellstarter Sprite completely destroying my opponent's plan here. It's a lot of mana you got over there, opponent. What are you planning to do with all of it? Well, yeah, if we had been on the play, we would have won this game. I mean, I don't know if we would have won, but like would have at least had one more turn, you know? Cultivator Colossus. Okay. They're having fun over there. Look at so many triggers. So I'm kind of like chilling here because I think it's important to get some information. Like I think it's important to particularly to know whether my opponent has battlements, because maybe that's why they didn't go for lethal. They're playing battlements, and that means that they couldn't have killed me with a Primeval Titan there, because I have a single black mana. Like there's no card in the format that allows me to stop my opponent from killing me with a prime time. So maybe my opponent simply doesn't have a way to kill me. And I think that's important information to gather. Transmute T-West, another Summoner Spect, Primeval Titan. But all of this is valuable information for me, right? To know whether my opponent has battlements, to know whether my opponent has a second Tolaria West. Like all of this is relevant information. Okay, so they're playing battlements, which means I am actually, because they have the... Alright. That was turn 2 kill on the play. We do have Necromancia, which is very good, obviously. We do have Vanillin Click. We do have Dress Down. So those are the cards that I'm actively excited to see. Spellstarter Sprite seems pretty hot. Brazen Borrower is worse than Click. Bitter Blossom, probably not great. I'm going to cut at least 2 pushes. And I think I'm going to cut a Sprite. Drown the Luck is a questionable card, but we have very many questionable cards in our deck right now. Sure. Keep this hand. Got a V-Click. Busted. Inquisition. You. Yeah, you. Kozilek has a question or two to ask you. So here's... I'm going to take Amulet. That's going to slow down my opponent a little bit, hopefully. Opponent's going to go turn 1 Gracer. But now even the Dryad is not that good. I'm still going to counter it if given the chance. Because I don't know if this counter spell is going to be any good past this. There goes that. I could have also pushed, like just play a Fetchland and push there, but Snapcaster. It's definitely interesting. I think I'm just going to draw step, click, take a peek, see what's over there. But I think I'm just going to save this Snappy for a counter spell. Draw step, click you. Another play that I have not made in a really, really long time. Well, do I still take a prime time? I think I do. Like, it's terrible, but I still think I'm supposed to take a prime time there because I only have a single counter spell. It does draw my opponent closer to... Okay, so I'm just gonna attack here. My opponent can block with the Gracer. They probably should. Amulet. So this Drown is pretty much dead. So I guess because of that I'm gonna counter here. And anything else that they could play with the remaining mana, we can push. So I think countering the Amulet here is fine. It's not great, but also my opponent's sequencing is kind of odd there. Yeah, I think that Hall is gonna may end up being like an important piece of this puzzle. Like now they have to play the turn Timber out. Like this is bad. Like they messed up. They should have played Vesuva last turn. Snapcaster, counterspell. So we're still 1 mana away from. So do I push this Gracer now? Because I think I want to get in for the damage. We're still like 1 turn away from Hall. And if I have Jace, I guess no. But if I Jace Brainstorm into a counterspell, then I think I'm just gonna do this right now. We're gonna push here. A little bit awkward to use a push, which is a way to kill Dryad on a Gracer, but I think that the 2 points are gonna matter. That's a pretty decent draw. Shout out to Vanillin Click. So we probably can't beat Cavern of Souls. Oh, my opponent's a very good Titan drawer. We did find a counterspell, fortunately for us. So now they should play a Vesuva copy bounce line and just bounce Tarn Timber. I'm gonna opt main phase, Creeping Tar Pit. Opponent resolves Primeval Titan. They can't kill me from 15. I swing for 5 here. Opponent goes down to 1. Opponent gains 4 life from Radiant Fountain and Bounce Radiant Fountain. Is Star Pit good enough to win? I think so. I don't think with an Amulet my opponent can kill me here, so I think I'm going to put Tar Pit on top, actually, as awkward as it may sound. And this is only because of my opponent's life total. I think Tar Pit guarantees that my opponent's dead next turn. I guess they could have Gracer into Boseiju. Into, like, so Titan into Gracer. No, they just don't have enough mana. Unless they have an Amulet. Like, if their hand is, like, another Primetime into Boseiju. Into Amulet, I mean. Into Boseiju, then I lose. But I think this means that I get to kill them even through a, I guess, Primetime plus Gracer stop me from killing them. 7 mana. Is this a turntable Hail Mary? Yes, it is. Opponent should have used the bounce land to... Yep. Only 2. Only 2 Primeval Titans left in the deck, but I think this is good. I think we're good here. Opponent gets to gain 4 life, and I swing for 3 in the air plus the Creeping Tar Pit. So I think we're good. Unless they have, like, Ghost Squatter in hand, which seems unlikely. Dismember? Well, they can't have Dismember. They would take too much damage. That's your land drop. Can I swing for 6, please? Hey, got there. Awesome. I told you. Validium Click is very, very good against Amulet. I told you. So now we're on the draw. Sprite gets a lot worse. It still counters Summoner's Pact, to be fair. So that's something to keep in mind. Is it better than Brazen Borrower? Probably yes. Yeah, and I don't think I want Flusterstorm, so I think this is okay. Now, the opponent kept a hand without Cavern, and we were able to navigate to a W. Well, I'm not gonna mulligan turn 3 Necromentia, right? This is not something that's gonna happen right now. There are combinations of hands that my opponent could keep here that would put me in rough shape, but Inquisition, you. Dryad of the Elysian Grove is what I'm taking here. I think so. Yeah, because my opponent's gonna have an Amulet, so yeah, so I think we take the Dryad there. We're probably gonna have to. Sounds good. Radiant Fountain still in the deck is very surprising to me. Well, I guess I'm dead, huh? I guess with this top deck I'm dead, so I need to, like, opt into a discard spell or a fatal push. That's not it. Well, I am dead. Cool. Well, so much for Necromentia, but like that Amulet of Vigor top deck from my opponent was pretty solid. I think we're dead now. If my opponent goes for it, of course. Maybe they won't. Seems unlikely. They just go Pact for Azusa. And as long as they make sure that they can pay for Pact, they should be good to go. Oh, they just played Primetime here. Yeah, this is just Primetime mana, yeah. Yeah, that Amulet of Vigor draw was pretty good. Staring at this Necromentia. Yeah, being on the draw. Tough beats. I think we did the best that we could. If we had Thoughtseize instead, that wouldn't have changed anything. We just suck because we were on the draw. This is weird. Okay. I mean, I guess I'm gonna let this develop, see what's up. Because that's a very weird play, in my opinion. They're gonna Pact for Dryad. And then if I draw Fatal Push, I win? Fatal Push or Drown in the Lock? Because they can't trigger... What's his name? Valakut. So I'm gonna play this out because I'm just allowing my opponent to make a mistake, basically. Yep, Summoner's back. Alright, what else do you got? That's a Dryad. Sounds good to me. I guess they did bounce a green source. They did bounce the other land instead of the green source. So if they get green here, plus Valakut, I can't kill them. This is a bad play though. My opponent should have just attacked. Like, it just makes no sense to me to Pact for Dryad here. Like, they're not really opening themselves up to anything, but at the same time, like, why do this now? Like, why do this there? Like, what's the point of this? Just doesn't make any sense to me. Man, we even found the answer to the Dryad. They don't have a bounce land in hand technically. Okay. So I'm gonna Brace and Borrower the Primeval Titan. If they don't have a bounce land in hand, which I don't know if they do. If they don't have a bounce land, they cannot play the Primetime. I get to Necromantia the Primetime from my opponent's hand. So technically, I'm not dead. Technically, there's still a possibility here. But if they have a bounce land, we lose. So they do. Okay, sounds good. Yep. This deck's pretty good, apparently, huh? Round number 4. What do we got here? I think I'm keeping this hand. Like, it's a little bit awkward, but we can go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 push. If we draw in the land, we can Thoughtseize again with Snapcaster Mage. This looks okay, unless we get paired against Burn, in which case this hand is obviously horrid, but this is how this deck rolls, I guess. This is how it rolls. Opponent I move to 6, which obviously makes my Thoughtseize even better. Love to see it. Let's see what my opponent's cooking with. Archetype Trap, Spell Pierce, Drown in the Lock. Woof. Okay, what are we doing here? I don't think we... maybe we should take the Spell Pierce, actually. Yeah, I guess we take Spell Pierce. So opponent has a Drown. Hideaway Land was the top deck. Sheldock Isle. Okay. So this push is not looking super hot. I wonder why on earth would Moto just like put the Archive Traps. Like they're literally the same card. It just somehow puts them like in random places when when it shows the reveal cards. Moto is always gonna be Moto, you know. Okay, Counterspell is a very good draw. Makes me a lot happier about taking that Spell Pierce, obviously. Also makes my Snapcaster, but I'm probably gonna snap Thoughtseize anyways. But I guess if they're holding up Drown, I guess they can't drown, so it's fine. Watery Grave, Shock. Okay. Would love to find a land. Darkslick Shores. I guess I'll take that. I love how like Snapcaster getting the Thoughtseize makes the drown makes the drown worse. This is just beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Thoughtseize you. Can't drown it. I'm probably gonna take the drown anyways, but I don't know. Like I'm gonna take a peek regardless. We do have close to perfect info here. Push for Snappy. Okay. I think we still take the drown. Like it's fairly mana efficient, and we have like these counter spells. Hedron Crab into Delta. It's not bad. It's not bad. We get to push the crab though, which allows me to use my cards, so it's not the worst. And this is only like a mill 6. I'm gonna main phase kill this though. Oh, all snappies are gone. Okay. Well, Sprite is potentially hot. Fortunately doesn't work against Archive Trap. So that's the sad part of this. But nevertheless, we may be able to snab like the Ancestral card or whatever. I don't think I'm gonna play a 1/1 though on end step. Another counter spell. Let's say that I've not been a fan of this like non-blue producing lands. Maybe they should not be in the deck. In fact, I'm fairly certain they should not be in the deck. Inquisition, I guess. Maybe I should be waiting one more turn. Drown in the Lock. I think we'll let that resolve. Would you mind playing a 1-drop for me, opponent? Not a 1-drop. Yep. Should have definitely cycled that. 500% should have cycled that. Mill 4 cards for free. Get another card. Yeah, we're not drawing hot here. We're not drawing too hot. Yep. Counter that one. Land. Okay. So this means Archive Trap is going to be enabled now. Which is a little bit awkward, but we do get to Cryptic something. I think I'm spell strutting. I feel like this is obviously pretty bad clock, but I think I have to get something going. Just a little bit of pressure. And also my mana is kind of taxed as is. That sucks. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna play it out. At least I get a little bit closer to Hall. And maybe I can set up a situation where Hall is a 2-turn clock. I wonder if my opponent's sandbagging lands in case they draw a crab. Could be a thing. They just pass the turn again. Whole lot of passing of the turn. Kind of unfortunate that all my snappies are gone. Probably one of my best cards in the matchup. Swing for 1 again. 1 land away from Hall. Crab. Well, that gives me something to use my push on, which is nice. Why would they play the land first? Like, this guarantees a trigger. Like, now, like, what are they gonna do now? Like, counter my push? Then I push it again in response. That was some pretty poor sequencing there. I wonder what they were thinking. Like, what were they trying to play around there? Obviously, did not work out. Come on, man. All 4 pushes. Ugh. All 4 pushes is so devastating there. Like, I need counter magic. I need, like... Ugh. Okay, finally find the Field of Ruin. I think I'm gonna Cryptic bounce my Hall and draw a card. This means that I don't shuffle. It fizzles the field and it effectively destroys their land. It also saves my Hall, which can potentially be the way that I end this game. Hey, that resolved. Sick. Alright. They only have 2 mana. I think that was a good play. I think that was a pretty good use of Cryptic Command there. Would love to dodge another Field of Ruin. Interesting. Okay, so I can use that now. I may not want to. Because my opponent could have Fatal Push and they're just like saving it. But if I have, like, I guess if I don't untap land, maybe I do it. Because that means I get to charm one of these archetype traps and still hold up. I mean, I probably don't want to do that though. Whatever is interesting. Whatever is very interesting. I can technically Otawara my own sprite. Probably not gonna do that, but no, this little Faeries going the distance. I just realized that V-Click makes Otawara cheaper. That's just good deck building right there. Just good deck building. So at this point, it's possible my opponent has even more traps. Maybe they are looking at like 3 traps in hand. Because that's a whole lot of nothing that they're doing over there. So I swing. If they just hardcast a trap. So do I swing here? 1, 2, 3. Attack with Tar Pit. We can hold up Charm. And we swing for 4. And then 4 plus 7 is lethal. Do I have to do that though? Because I think I do. Because otherwise my opponent's going to end step. Just hardcast one of these traps. This card is not so great when it costs 5 instead of 0. It's possible my opponent has push or like drown and stuff. But if they do that, then... What is this? They can't Brazen Borrower. Mission Briefing. For what? For drown? So I would have... Like, this is so much better now, right? Like, I would have actually lost to... I would have actually lost if I had played into the trap. Because they would have... my opponent would have been able to triple trap. Alright, so this worked out. They did keep a card on top, however, which is scary. And now my opponent doesn't use one of these traps on end step, which is good. I'm thinking that my opponent probably found Field of Ruin, because that's one of the few cards that they would not bottom there. So I have to imagine that's the card they found. Black mana. Surgical Cryptic Command. Okay. So that basically guarantees that the card they found was Field of Ruin. Okay, now they can, like, they guarantee the field resolves, and now they're gonna cast their traps for 0 mana. Like, we drew like garbage this game. We drew so poorly here. Kind of a beating, really. I think I played as well as I could have. I think the spots where I took my chances were the right ones. I guess this Flooded Strand all actually matters. Because I'm swinging for 8 next turn if I want to. I'm not sure if I do just yet. But yeah, never saw a Click, never saw a Borrower, never saw a Jace. Snapcast, all 3 Snapcasters gone. In like the only mill that happened this entire game. Visions. Just 1 mana, draw a card. Okay. That's acceptable. 2 mana. Mesmeric Orb. Okay. It's gonna be a mill 3. Mill 4, I guess, because the sprite actually mills me as well. So mill 4. Let's see what we find here. Opt, Delta, Shores. We're really drawing poorly here, huh? This is also very much not stock in mill deck lists. I really don't think I'm supposed to Inquisition. I do, however, think that I'm supposed to attack. Really want to dodge Field of Ruin. That's my opponent's best draw. They probably win if they find Field of Ruin, probably. Most likely lethal. Maybe I should have played the land last turn. Finds Delta. Okay. This is kind of a close game. We have to keep in mind that Shelldock Isle that's threatening over there. Miraval would have been a great... actually not a great draw. It would have been just like an okay draw. Alright. Swing for 1. I think I'm probably supposed to counter the archetype trap if my opponent goes for it. They don't. Hedron crap. So it's a mill 3 regardless, I guess, huh? So I'm just gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna push here in response. They're gonna get, I guess they're gonna get to use the Shelldock Isle, like whatever's under the Shelldock Isle. Because now I'm gonna be milled for 2. So what are the chances my opponent has a fatal push is the real question here. Oh, please show me your last card in hand. Please show me your last card in hand. Okay, so they're just hard casting one of these traps. This is, I think, a pretty bad play. So now I'm gonna do this. Now, on upkeep, we counter that. On upkeep, in response to all of this orb triggers, I'm gonna oh no, I can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess, yeah, because then my opponent's just gonna, yeah, I guess I can't do this. Never mind. So I just have to hope that I leave at least a couple of fetchables. I need at least 2 fetchables left in the deck. Okay, so far so good. Uh-oh. Alright. Woof! Okay, so I have to go into my main phase, like after my draw step. That's good. And now this hole is lethal. So now we can finally fetch. Oh, come on. Really? Is that all my fetchables? I thought I had a water grave. I guess I missed it. Oh, come on, man. Oh, no. Dude, I can't believe it. Did this really just happen? Am I really out of fetch? Well, I guess I lose the game now. That's so unlucky, man. That's so freaking unlucky. I guess I'm not dead just yet. So I can counter this. Hope that whatever's under there is garbage. And I can hopefully just like swing 6. Oh, that last card's another trap. Okay, never mind. So I am dead. Oh, man. That's devastating. Oh my god. Disputes, V-click, please. Counterspell. Bitter Blossom's probably okay, actually. Necromancer's terrible. Brutality, potentially good. Inquisition, Thoughtseize seem fine. Snapcaster, best card in the deck. Borrower is a clock. Make cut 1 Jace. I think I actively like Bitter Blossom in the matchup. So we don't have what just happen again. Gonna cut a Sprite. And what? Maybe a couple of opts. Makes my Snapcasters a little bit worse, but like Snapcaster is gonna be great anyways. So, what a heartbreaking game 1. What an absolute heartbreaker of a game. Alright, let's go with Basic Island into MTGO. I kind of want to dodge a crab real bad here. Also, we're somehow 10 minutes ahead on clock. Please don't fetch for a crab. So now we opt, looking for another land. Bottom that charm that's uncastable. Uncastables, well, punished by the colorless land, I guess. Yep. Real punished by the colorless land. Should have known better. Should have known better. Play a 1-drop, please. Hey, that's a 1-drop. Sweet. Appreciate that, opponent. Thank you for that. no, I was gonna say, like, no way they didn't have a second land drop there, right? Crazy. Land. Okay, that's it's not the best land, but it's a land. Now we can end step V-click, which is kind of nice. Like this thing is the real clock. Field of Ruin. Let's float a mana here, and I think we're actually gonna go find a basic swamp. Like, it's bad with the cryptic, but you know, we got Thoughtseize and Blossom in hand. I don't think I'm countering an archetype trap. Jesus. Is that good enough to counter? That's 13 cards. I think that's fine. It's bad if my opponents, if they have an Ancestral in hand, I guess. But now we're gonna get to end step V-click. Then we speed up the clock considerably. And then we untap and we Thoughtseize plus counter. Or if we find land, we can Bitter Blossom plus counter spell. If they have Ancestral here, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble though. Fracture Sanity, double Tasha's. If I could take this, I'd probably take this. I'm gonna take this Sanity because it's free. But now this is a 5-turn clock. Maybe I should have taken nothing there, actually. Now that I think about it. If I find a blue source, I'm probably gonna... Sadness. Yeah, now that I think about it, I should have taken nothing. Here's some damage. Oops. I want to Thoughtseize here. Almost forgot for a second. Yeah, if I had found a land there and I could drop the Bitter Blossom, we would be in such fantastic shape. We would have shortened the clock by a turn, and then set up Cryptic Command for the following turn. Would be much better shape. I think we take the Drown here. Yeah, so I should have just taken nothing there. Although I guess if I have taken nothing, my opponent could have cycled the other card, and then they could have just cycled plus held up Drown with any untap land. So maybe it's fine to take that because of the uncounterable mill. But yeah, now that we're not gonna have time to deploy this Bitter Blossom, unfortunately, because we missed our land drop. Counterspell. Can we please find a blue source that's untapped? We have one island, we have one Watery Grave, and we have 2 of the filter land. So we do have lands that we can find. Please. Pretty please. Very pretty please. That does shorten the clock, but I'm gonna lose now, because I can't counter the Tasha's. And we've been getting pretty unlucky this league, and my opponents have hit some. Like, we got turn 2 against Amulet. Then game 3, my opponent turned 3'd me through interaction because they just stopped the Amulet. Like, we've been getting demolished this league. I feel like I've gotten outdrawn every single match. Okay. So they're gonna bounce Ovoro, replay Oboro, then Tasha's. Or like whatever's under the Shelllock Isle. If I Brazen Borrower here, my opponent can't Tasha's, but they can still Shelllock Isle. Pretty poor sequencing by my opponent here. They should have done this before. Play around Fatal Push. Now if I had a push, I could push right now. Yeah, I guess we just let that resolve. Because it just doesn't change anything. Mill 3. So I'm probably just dead to these Tasha's here. Maybe my opponent plays around something, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. Alright, that's a Shelllock Isle. Yeah, that's not better. Okay, I mean, I guess I can win now. No, I guess I can't. I guess I can't win. Because this is going to mill me for 3 next turn. They should have done this on my end step, though, if they were going to do that. But this is going to mill me for 3, and I can't counter the Tasha, so we're 1 turn too short. Or 1 land drop. Like, if I had found 1 land drop, I think we win this game fairly easily. That's brutal. That's so brutal. That's devastating. Also, my opponent played at a glacial pace the entire game. We have 13 minutes ahead on clock. If I kill this, I die to the Tasha's. And the bad part about this is that, like, my opponent can't play around anything. Because if they just have to go for it. So I can't, like, bluff a Mystical Dispute or something like that. Because my opponent, they have no choice. Like, if they don't try to kill me, they lose the game. So because of that, that puts me in a pretty tricky spot. I don't know. Maybe they play around something. All right, kill that thing. Kill it good. Sure. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Die to Xaxes. Die to Xaxes. Because otherwise, if we had one more card in the deck, we could have just countered the Tashas. I can't believe, man, like, that's so unlucky. That's so freaking unlucky. See you next round. Alright. Last match. Sure. Still looks like a fine hand. Hopefully we don't get destroyed this time around. We're gonna go for turn 1 Tarn. Probably gonna fetch Water Grave on end step. I imagine this is Shadow. I guess turn 1 Monkey would be kind of a problem. Blood Crypt. That's a turn 1 Monkey. Where's my Fatal Push at, huh? Push. Hey, that's good. And I'm gonna push here because my opponent could be they're probably on Shadow, and if they have Drown, then I get got. No need to get got. DRC. Okay. So no blue source. That's a pretty big tell that there's no blue source. That's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna show them Mutable just yet, I guess. So they shocked over there because it's free, but also they could have a Bolt or a Heat or something. So I think we are end step clicking here. Good end step push. Really? You're drowning this? Ooh, that's great for me. Okay, awesome. That's great. Alright. So Inquisition U. What you got over there? Shadow. Shredder. So I guess we're gonna take the Shadow, and we can counter the Shredder, and then we're gonna try to push this thing. Although I guess my opponent can just not play the Shredder. Basic Swamp. I mean, there's no way the Shredder, right? I guess they could put Jegantha in hand, I guess. Monkey. Yep. Darkstick Shore of Exile. Okay, this hit is kind of annoying in the face of the Jays, but Sprite. That is so sexy. That is so sexy. Oh, I guess it doesn't do anything. They have heat. So I guess I'm going to have to Snapcaster. We're going to Snap Push. Yeah, kind of. Actually. Yeah, this was bad because I can just activate Mutavolt. So this was just bad. This was a mistake. I mean, I'm committed now. Like, I cannot not push this. So unfortunately, it's not going to work out. But I messed this up. What I should have done is I was trying to bait the heat with the Snapcaster Mage, but what I could have done is, my opponent plays the monkey. I spell started. Oh, okay. How does my opponent have two? Oh, monkey and heat. They have monkey and heat. Huh. Well, I have to discard that, I guess. Well, I'm gonna lose to this Groxa now. Man, this deck has so many problems. This deck has so many issues. It's crazy. That's very funny. This deck has so many problems. We have to draw 3 here. I don't even know what we're looking for. Jay's down. Like, these don't even do anything. Because my opponent's gonna get back Croxa next turn. I can trade here and they just lose to the Croxa. So let's put that on top, and I guess we're just gonna discard the opt to the Croxa. Technically, I could draw Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command, bounce. Ugh, bounce Croxa is so bad. Ugh. Yeah, I don't think we can win this game anymore. I guess draw another Jace. We snap, we opt through the island into another Jace. We Jace bounce Croxa. Then we trade with Ragavan. Opponent draws blank into blank. I guess that's how we get there. We figure it out. We have to opt into Jace. Cool. Concede. What even matters in this matchup? Nihil Spellbomb probably. Disputes probably. V-Click probably. Pushes are good. Ooh, Bitter Blossom is kind of hot. Sprite is nice. Cryptic sucks. Engineered Explosives potentially? Yeah, Explosives is fine. Although I guess we're not really dying to the... we are dying to the 1-drops, yeah. Maybe Borrower. Jace is kind of awkward. I think I do want discard spells. At least I want the Inquisitions. Let's cut it down. Let's cut a couple of counter spells, I think. Counter spells can be pretty awkward. I think Dispute, being 1 mana versus 2, is the difference maker here. Okay, this hand looks fine to me. Do I want turn 1 Inquisition or turn 1 Tarpet? I think I want to turn 1 Tarpet. It's possible I should be turn 1 Inquisitioning, but I guess I don't know just yet what I want to do. So I think it's probably better to Inquisition. Turn 1 Steam Vents. Okay, DRC. Okay, so Inquisition you. Definitely taking iteration here. And I think we're just gonna push this DRC right now. So Croxa obviously a beating here. Double Thoughtseize means that Steam Vents may be a little bit awkward. There's a Thoughtseize. Opponent probably takes the Archmage's Charm, I imagine. It's the only 2 for 1. Bitter Blossom would be kind of a sick draw. Borrower doesn't do anything. Take Explosives over Charm. Will color me confused. I think we get a basic island here, and I just snap back the Inquisition. Maybe they have Dispute, that's why. Maybe they have Spell Pierce. That would also be interesting. Inquisition you. Well, I'm gonna take your Thoughtseize. Because if they play Croxa, like, Thoughtseize is the only way my opponent gets to double spell. If they play Shredder, I just bounce it. If they play Croxa, they can't play Shredder, so I just discard Borrower. Yeah. And now if I draw a push, we're like super far ahead. Another Charm. Okay, I'm just gonna do this main phase, so if I draw a land, I can play it. Okay. Slightly awkward, but it's fine. Probably gonna discard that Opt. There's Croxa. I guess I could just discard the Borrower. Let's just discard the Borrower, actually. Just this. And I guess I'm just gonna main phase Opt. Nice. Main phase Opt for Fatal Push. Love to see that. Okay. So now we get to push plus counterspell. Not bad. Be left with an Archmage's Charm. And we want to do this in that order so my opponent doesn't get a free connive, obviously. Only put. Interesting. Okay. So I guess we're gonna do this then. So if we draw a Nihil Spellbomb, then we're gonna be in really, really good shape. Spellbomb? Takenuma. So Takenuma gets back Snapcaster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they're casting Jegantha. I can counter this. I think so. Dispute is kind of okay. This means I get to counter Croxa. The problem is that at this point they have enough fodder for double Croxa with that Scalding Tarn. So I can discard... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna discard Mystical Dispute, and then we can Takenuma, get back Snapcaster, and then push the Croxa, I guess. This puts a 2/1 into play. Nihil Spellbomb would be a sick draw. Okay. So I think we're just gonna main phase this Fatal Push here in case my opponent draws Drown. I guess obviously that does not feel great. Opponent's just gonna recast this Croxa, but... So we take 3, and we can now draw an answer to the Croxa. Like if we draw another Fatal Push, we actually are gonna be winning this race very easily. Fatal Push, Drown. Well, opponent could have plethora of removal spells, but not playing around anything. I can't. Literally can't, so here we go. There goes my 3-2. Opponent down to 4. If they attack, I'm not gonna block. And we're gonna take 9. And then... Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're doing this again. Worked last turn. Hopefully it works this turn too. Okay. I'm not blocking. Counter magic. Something... A spell. It's not a spell. We're gonna play it out in case of Call Against Command, but like we're still gonna be doing this thing. It's our best chance of winning. Alright, they did draw an answer. We still have 2 threats, so... You know, Fatal Push would have been lethal. You know, spells that do things could have been lethal there. Even Hall would have been a much better draw than stupid Mutavault, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I don't think I can really afford to just jam, though. Because then if my opponent has a removal spell, then we lose what's bringing this board stall. That's kind of a sick draw. So this card kind of breaks this wide open a little bit. Because now if they attack, we can crack back. But this also, like, slowly but surely gives me a board state. And gives me flyers. I mean, obviously, again, like a removal spell, like a way to get rid of this Grixis would be much better. But if I'm not gonna draw that, at least this is, like, the better of the things to draw, I guess. Dispute. I'm gonna pay. And that resolves. Here we go. No cards in hand. So I'm gonna just discard the card for no reason. That's good for us. If they attack, still not blocking. Blue, black. Drawn the lock. My Snapcaster. Nothing I can do about it. Why would they do that main phase? It's interesting. Real card. Not a real card. I'm gonna hold on to this because of Colligan's command, I guess. And if my opponent wants to serve with the Grixis, like the extra mana doesn't matter. Not blocking. Gonna take 6. Out of 5. Not dead to bolt. We have 2 lethal attackers. Would have been awesome to draw anything at all, but wow. Somehow, wow, Jesus. Well, good thing they also didn't draw anything, because we would not have gotten there. So Drown kind of sucks, huh? Maybe Bracing Board was just better. Just clocking my opponent in the air. Don't think I like Cryptics. Yeah, this is fine. I don't think I like Cryptics when my opponent's going to be bringing in mono disputes and stuff. Maybe I should even be cutting Jace, to be honest. But Jace at least affects the board in a very meaningful way. I guess Cryptic does too. Maybe Jace is just bad. I guess I do need some amount of card advantage. Fluster? Maybe it should just be Drown. I don't know, man. Sideboarding with this deck is hard. Particularly when I have no idea of how the matchups actually play out. Because nobody knows. Nobody has played Faeries. Ever. At least not seems Modern looks like it does right now. I just snap kept this hand, but this hand loses hard to turn 1 monkey. We can probably beat the DRC, but we cannot beat a monkey in a million years. Okay. We do get to play the game. Okay. So I think I'm gonna hold on to Opt. If they have this curse spell, I could see them going for Hearse. You got it. Just because of Snapcaster? I don't know, man. I don't think that's very good. I mean, I guess Snapcaster is a good card for us, but Opt. I'm gonna have, well, immediately don't throw the Snapcaster. Punished. Okay. Very great. Here we go. I'm sort of incentivized to play this Spell Stutter Sprite if my opponent plays a 1-drop. Also, my opponent did not activate. So let's just take 1 here. Fetch. Okay. So end step. Do I just bounce Borrower? I think so. I just realized why my opponent didn't do anything. They have Drown in hand. So I think we're just bouncing the RC. Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually. Like, you're not activating, but you're also, like... like, you want to keep cards in my graveyard because of Drown, but you also want to keep, you know... I don't know, it's kind of sketch. If they also have the removal, that's, you know, bad for me, but like this, at least they didn't get a DRC trigger. Also, that tapped them out a little bit there. 4 cards in hand is a lot. Also, I'm again 10 minutes ahead of my opponent clock. Jesus, this has been like the longest league of my life or something. Kind of ridiculous. Now they exile my things. I am so confused. I'm so freaking confused. Island. Opt. Look for land. Yeah, I think I'm interested in finding a land, unfortunately. That's nice. Though, I kind of want to main face this Snapcaster here. Make sure I can get value. And then I'm gonna just play the Nile spell on. I think I'm just getting another island. So just Opt here. Push. Don't mind if I do. Push that. I'm doing this when my opponent doesn't have draft value from this thing. Like, I'm gonna have to kill this eventually. I'm gonna kill my Snapcaster. Sounds You got it, Chief. Bunch of cards straight. They kept on top. That's pretty scary. That is pretty scary. Next turn we do get to go Nile Spellbomb into... Oh, don't monkey me. Don't you dare monkey me. Dashed monkey? Ugh. I hate this card so much. I fucking hate this card so much. Get a free 2-1. No dashing. I'm just so confused. What's with that timing too? Well, now that I have 2 of these, I think I'm just gonna pass. And if opponent dashes, I can spell starter sprite 1, then I can spell starter sprite the other thing. So I'm forcing my opponent to have like monkey plus double removal. If they have drown, they have to use the treasure, so that this monkey didn't really achieve anything. So that's kind of nice. There's the drown. Play second sprite. We're gonna get to result Jace here, which is pretty nice. So I think we're just gonna go no attacks with sprite. We're just gonna go Jace, Brainstorm. Oof, that's nice. So Jace, Brainstorm into play land so that we can play Spellbomb and then heat doesn't kill the Jace. Super weird timing with this thing. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. Also, the cards that they're putting back are so random. So now that we drew this, I kind of want to hold this Spellbomb. So we're gonna put this on top and put this on top. Play out Takenuma, Inquisition U. See what you're cooking with over there. Jesus, that's so bad. Yeah, we're gonna take the monkey because the monkey crews the hearse, and like those cards do literally nothing. Like actual nothing. Those are blank pieces of virtual cardboard. Kaito Shizuki. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent top deck there. We do have Borrower, so we can clock that fairly effectively. And this cannot make enough dudes, but it's gonna draw them a card. I'm so confused, man. I just don't get it. I don't think I can get it at this point. I think we're too long past the getting it point. All this is neat. All of these cards are pretty neat. Can't attack this. Love Sprite. So what do I want to put back? Definitely want to hold on to the land because I'm going to play it right now. So I think Sprite plus... I'm going to put the Charm on top. And I think I'm going to put Counterspell on top. This is very greedy. But I guess like anything that I find... Like I definitely want to play this out now. And anything that my opponent can play, I can counter one way or the other. And this allows me to counter by Brazen Borrower plus thing. And now I can attack, which is nice. Because I have perfect information. My opponent has two blank cards. I can Borrower into Sprite or simply Mystical Dispute. Yeah, this is nice. I think we're going to get a W here. Opponent draws some discards. You know, even if they had Crocs, I would just... Not even attack first. So here's that one. Shout out to Spellstarter. Finally, we're finally seeing the Sprite shine. Shine real bright over there. Shredder. Yeah, that's actually worth disputing. We can still kill the Kaito because of the second Sprite. We can also draw a card here if we wanted to. I'm probably gonna crack this Spellbomb now so that we can just use our mana better. We look at one more card. We know that there's a Charm and a Counterspell in hand. Look one card deeper. Kaito dies. Opponent can attack Jace if they want to. I don't care. Draw a card. Draw my Counterspell. Pass the turn. And we're gonna win regardless because my opponent's just getting clocked out. Draw 3. Okay. We can keep 3 of these. So... Definitely want the Bitter Blossom. So put... I guess they can only draw one card. So we're going to put that on... 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 to Bitter Blossom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so put that on top and that on top. Play this. Black, black, Bitter Blossom. Swing both at Kaito. We can draw 2 into Counterspell. If opponent draws nothing, we simply just cast it. Oh, yes, gotta love it. Oh, Mishra's Bubble. We were talking about this the other day with in my podcast in Mishra's Bubble. You speak of the fact that, you know, Gabe Spider's Face was saying that more decks should be playing like Mishra's Bubble, but then I pointed out exactly that, like exactly how certain decks can't afford for that to happen, like Scape Shift or whatever. But yeah, there we go. We got another win. All right, we went 2 and 3, which is okay, I want to say. The deck had obviously some pretty significant problems, so as it was, I don't think the deck can really exist. I don't think that you can really be playing the card Cryptic Command and, you know, like cards like this. I just don't think you can do this anymore. Particularly cards like Mutavault. Like, these cards were just so bad. Like, I got punished by this multiple times. I think these just have to be blue sources. Like, I don't think you can afford to mess around with that anymore when you're playing like Archmage's Charms and whatnot. Counterspell also makes, like in the past, this deck used to play Mana Leak, so you could go like turn 1, you know, Water Grave or Island, and turn 2 Mutavault, and you could still cast your Counterspell. That's just not true anymore. Like, Counterspell obviously is much better than Mana Leak, but the mana cost is significantly more prohibitive. So as such, you're also, you know, like Snapcaster Mage into Counterspell is not easy to achieve. So I do think that this, if you were to try something like this needs to be some form of blue sources. I do think these cards have not aged well at all, but I was actually kind of impressed by Spellstutter Sprite. Like, this card was pretty solid multiple times. The problem that this card has is that if you don't have a way to actually pull ahead somehow, like, it can be a little bit hard to leverage, which is something that happened multiple times. When we played against Grixis Shadow, you know, when we got to sort of like a stall, this card really shined, as we saw in that very last game. But it was not particularly easy for us to put ourselves in that position. So because of that, like, this is going to be countering 1-mana spells more often than not, which is great. But this card is really fantastic against Cascade decks, where whether your opponent kills your sprite or not doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't really affect the outcome. You're just going to get to counter the thing. Yeah, to be fair, I do feel like we got pretty unlucky in certain matches. And, well, like, you know, against Scape Shift, I established stable board state of my opponent top deck's wish. Like, they have 7 total cards in their deck that matter at all, and like they just find it immediately. Like that, those kind of things just happen. Get turn 2 against Amulet. Like, you know, I feel like we got it was some rough beats. But besides that, I think that this card in particular is potentially reasonable. I don't know if this is the shell where this card can really be good, but I feel like this is a card that could potentially be good. So I wonder if there's some other way that we can leverage a card like Spellstutter Sprite. Maybe it's just like cutting these cards and adding some other, you know, like more clicks or something like that. Maybe it's just completely ignoring that and just making sure like Spellstutter Sprite is going to counter 1 and 0 mana spells, period. So you're just playing Spellstutter Sprites in a deck that doesn't really have any other fairies at all. So you're just not even messing around with V-Clicks and Borrowers. You're just like playing some sprites and just calling it a day. So that could definitely be another way to approach things. As it is, just like blue-black control, I feel like has fallen a little bit too far behind to blue-red. Like, the red cards are just so much better these days that just the blue-black control just cannot keep up. You know, like, our opponents are playing like Unholy Heats and Ragavans and DRCs, and we have like 2 drops plus. So we're like a slightly bigger control deck, but not necessarily more powerful, you know? And even if the blue-red wanted to pivot and they wanted to try to do Snapcaster Mage things, which they don't because it's better to not do that, like, they could do that and they would be the better Snapcaster deck because they have so much more like 1-mana spells that are extremely impactful. So because of that, I feel like a deck like this is just, unfortunately, obsolete at this point. Like, that's the word I'm looking for, obsolete. Like, it's just the worst version of a different deck, and that's basically never what you want to have happen to whatever deck you're playing. So unfortunately, I think that Faeries has aged like milk. Saddens me to say it, because I love, particularly when Vanilla is such a sweet card. This card is absolutely fantastic, but yeah, I don't think this card can really keep up in the modern format anymore. Hopefully you did enjoy the video though, and if you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That helps support my channel. And of course, let me know in the comments below if you have any thoughts, any ideas, anything you liked, you didn't like. I'm always very, very happy to see what folks have to say about the channel. And of course, if you're interested in coaching or Patreon, both which are ways of supporting the stream, you can find all of the information you need in the description of the video down below. And I can play any deck of your choosing for a video or even a live stream. So you can check all of that information in the description of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed Fire, Wine, or Milk. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.